say live on custom live stream service?
Yes.
That's what it says, yeah.
Okay. Okay, go live. We are good. We are good.
We're good? We're live?
Looks like you're live.
Okay. Let's try this. Take 5. Welcome to our live stream, the Forkless Cafe, where you come to get your weekly DLT insights, everybody. Sorry for the bumpy start this time. My name is Andrew. I'm Hedera Hashgraph's social media manager, and I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Sharon. Say hi, Sharon.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Having a good day today.
Wonderful. And we have our guest that probably needs no introduction, but we have our wonderful guest, Nick, who is the creator of hashhash.info. Nick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Woohoo! Thanks, Nick. It is so great to have you. We are thrilled, and the community is thrilled to have you. So here's the person behind a lot of stuff going on, and we're really, really excited.
And I'm just going to start sharing my screen here and get things going here. So Nick is the creator of hashhash.info. There we go. And so he is going to be joining us on the live stream today as we go through the regular routine. If you haven't joined us on the Forkless Cafe before, this is our weekly agenda. Our objective is to share interesting news in the industry and the Hashgraph ecosystem. We're going to start things off with the industry insights, move towards the Hedera highlights, social sizzlers, and our personal favorite is the hero of the week, where we get to single out one of the community members that really goes above and beyond and recognize their efforts. And I don't bother reading the disclaimer anymore. I did that a couple of times. I think everyone understands why we have a disclaimer these days. But to start things off here, Nick, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Very grateful to have you on here. You're an important part of the community. We'd love for those of us who are watching the live stream that aren't familiar with you and aren't familiar with hashhash.info. Do you mind giving us a little intro on yourself and perhaps maybe touch on what the unique aspects of or attributes of Hedera Hashgraph are that it originally drew you to our platform?
Right. Okay. So hashhash.info, it's something I started a couple of months ago, 6 months ago actually. It came out of me joining the community test program in January, which gave everybody HBARs for testing a daily timestamp. And what happened there is that I'm a software engineer by trade, and I was testing myself and earning some HBARs and trying to figure out where I was ranking compared to everybody else. So this is where I created hashhash.info to be league able, but it turned out to become a little bit more like that, more than that. It has morphed now into something that's akin to Explorer. I don't want to say block Explorer because we don't have blocks here, but it's something like Etherscan now for Hashgraph. So we do monitor over 13,000 accounts now. And if you transact, we'll know about it.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, and really appreciate you sharing some insights. I know you also did an episode with Garrig on DAP Talk, and I think we're going to be pushing that live this week as well. So this is going to be the week of Nick with hashhash.info. This is going to be
all right, Nick has me.
Right on. So let's get going here with the industry highlights. I will try to minimize this screen here. There we go. All right, here we are. So we're going to start things off with this CoinDesk article, which was just posted today. The fake Toshi circus, even Bitcoin can't escape the politics of money. It seems anyone who pays attention to the DLT space, the blockchain space, the crypto space, I think most of us are aware that every once in a while there is another big announcement about Satoshi Nakamoto and the shroud of anonymity that surrounds him or them over the last 10 years. So yeah, I'm not sure if you had a chance to come across some of this news here, Nick, but it seems like something like this pops up every once in a while.
I mean, we just have to believe all of them, isn't it? They're all Satoshi. So and so am I. So
we're all going to be very surprised if the news ever comes about one of these days.
Oh, is this a reveal, Nick? Are you saying that you're a Satoshi too?
Oh, we are all.
Ah, okay.
We got him. We found him.
Exclusive in the Forkless Cafe. Nick S.
Yeah.
reveals that he's
Yeah.
one of the Satoshis.
I lost my drive too. So.
Fantastic. We got a Cointelegraph article here that actually is very interesting to me. I don't know if anybody who's watching the live stream, is a remote worker or a digital nomad, but this article points towards blockchain in the telecoms industry revolutionizing cell phone usage. Clearly, the remote lifestyle or digital nomad lifestyle is something that is trending quite well and has been growing in popularity over recent years. And this, I found this article fascinating, actually. It points to all the advantages of how DLT technology would be able to support telecom. It says right here, travelers suffer from increased fees abroad because they usually have only two options, either to purchase a prepaid local SIM card or run on roaming, which can be quite expensive. I can tell you, speaking as a Canadian, we do have quite expensive cell phone plans back home, and that does get quite pricey when you travel. I don't know what it's like for you in London there, Nick, if what your plans are like, but or how have you come across these kinds of problems too when you travel?
Yeah, you see, what we have here in the European Union is we do have free roaming now for a couple of months now. But it does highlight the problem that one company now needs to pay the other company the charges, and they don't trust each other. And this is where I guess these DLT solutions come into place to have some ledger to see who owes who money.
So that's where this DLT can take charge and serve in that settlement process when it comes between fees between these different entities, right?
Absolutely.
I'm coming to you from the Canary Islands right now, and funny enough, actually, I don't think I mentioned this to you. I'm actually going to be heading to London on September 6th, and I'm going to be in the area for at least a month. And I know we have a couple events. I don't know if you're going to be attending any of them, but I know our CMO, Christian Hasker, is going to be speaking at a couple DLT events that are going to be in London. So hopefully we can cross paths at some point, or maybe we'll throw a meetup or something.
Absolutely, we'll do it.
Wonderful. Yeah, I forgot to mention that to you.
Nick said that today is a bank holiday in London, and it's like the hottest day of the year out there. So you're going to have to prepare, Andrew.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting some fish and chips.
It's the hottest bank holiday, August bank holiday on history. So if you're in the business of selling inflatable swimming pools, this is the day. So
are you out doing that? Huh? That's what you're doing.
So watch out for the exchanges for inflatable swimming pool, hot stuff.
Well, I sure hope the weather sticks around when I get there in September. I hope it sticks around, but I expect to see some rain too. Then we also have some CoinDesk article here. This is an interesting article for me anyways, because I know Hedera Hashgraph has been beating that drum for a long time. Our CEO, Mance Harmon, mentions this at various events, that the single hurdle that is really impeding mass adoption is the lack of regulatory clarity. And here it seems the SEC has approved a blockchain tech startup, Securitize, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Securitize to record stock transfers. Securitize claims to be the first SEC registered transfer agent with a working blockchain protocol. So this seems to be a step in the right direction. So we'll see if we can get some more clarity from the regulators moving forward. Okay, up next we have ByNance reveals Venus, its own project to rival the Facebook's Libra. Facebook obviously made that their massive announcement. What was that? A couple months ago, and announcing Libra and Calibra, their Calibra wallet. And it seems the big exchange ByNance says it's seeking partnerships with governments, corporations, technology firms, and other cryptocurrency and blockchain projects in order to develop a new currency ecosystem that will empower both developed and developing countries. So this is interesting news because it certainly hit a Hashgraph our perspective that you must have a decentralized and distributed governance model for the decentralized technology to be governed by. It certainly doesn't make sense to a lot of people to have a decentralized technology that at the end of the day is being governed by a centralized system. It sort of defeats the points, right? So, yeah. And then moving on with some Hedera highlights, I wanted to start things off, and actually I would love your feedback here, Nick, if you've had a chance to check out some of these new pages that our web team just launched here this past week. We've got the users page on Hedera.com, which is just a very short, small list of different projects that are building on the Hedera mainnet. And I'm certain we are going to hear a lot more about these projects after OA, after open access. So we've got the users page. We've got the HBAR page showing you the actual purpose of our cryptocurrency, which is called HBAR, the dual role. It's the network fuel and provides network protection. Highlighting these pages for everyone because I certainly hope everyone goes and takes a look at these pages. The team did a lot of work on these new additions to our website, and they've been providing a lot of value for people. This is our fees page. I think this is actually ended up being the more popular of all of the new pages. Specifically, when you scroll down here, we have something called a fee estimator. This is very unique and in this space. From what I'm told, there's nothing quite like it anywhere right now, where you can actually get an estimation, a fairly accurate estimation of the different kinds of fees that you will have to, as a developer, that this is the kind of information that you're going to need access to when you're working on building your dApp. I don't know if you've had a chance to poke around this, Nick.
Oh, I had. So I just noticed that it doesn't cost any money anymore to do a balance check. So I'm using that a lot. So actually 48 times a day to scan the entire network to give you the data for Hashash info. So
I can only imagine what an impact that makes on you, actually. Yeah, exactly. Of course, no more fee for a balance check. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did a big upgrade here recently, and then updated that feature as well. Exactly. Yeah, but this is something we'll probably come back to in a second. And then the last page is how it works, our how it works page, which is a fantastic resource for anyone who's technically minded or non-technically minded to review this, to have a better understanding of exactly how all of this works together. We also have our 4 native services: cryptocurrency, smart contracts, file service, and the newest native service that we just announced recently, which is the Hedera Consensus Service, HCS, which I know a lot of people are talking about these days as well, because it's very unique in the space, where you're getting the trust of a public network, but you're combining that with the privacy of a private network, and you're combining the two, because as you could probably imagine, if you're putting some sensitive information on a DLT, you don't want that publicly accessible, and you're going to want to bypass the whole smart contract layer and just use HCS, so that now you can run any application in this manner. Yeah, and I think you talked about this with Garrig in a more technical sense on dApp Talk, didn't you, Nick?
Yes. So HCS is a big thing. It takes a little bit of time for people to realize how big it is, but in essence, it allows us to kind of get rid of smart contracts. So smart contracts do have their place, but HCS is what enables now the big corporations to get on board with all the barriers they had put up for not adopting DLTs. Now, think of the past. HCS allows them to join the space and really benefit from it. Yeah. We've heard a lot of excitement about this new native feature, and I'm sure people are just aching to get their hands on it. Yeah. So those are the new pages that I wanted to highlight for everyone who's perhaps not visited our website before. These are the new pages. I promise you're going to find a lot of value. Moving on, very excited to talk about this one, because our Boston Hedera Hashgraph ambassador, Kat Lehman, recently hosted a technical meetup, and she was able to stream it. Was that right? Very successful one, high attendance, very crazy. Good work from Kat, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And her son Connor was able to stream it on online for us. And I unfortunately haven't been able to watch the whole thing as of yet. But I know Paul Madsen, our technical architect, zoomed in and gave a very technical presentation. This is probably much more up your alley here, Nick, than mine. But I was speaking at the Boston meetup the previous month where we just did more of an intro Hedera Hashgraph 101. We talked about the governance model. We talked about the new feature, the new native service HCS. But I'm not qualified to give more a technical presentation. Paul Madsen certainly is. And I still need to watch this full presentation because I always learn something when I see Paul.
It's worth watching. At the end of this presentation, Paul introduced something new in the space, which was about identity management. So it's really worth watching till the end because this is where these new parts come in. So.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, that's actually Paul's background. He spent quite a bit of time with a company called Ping, which is, and he actually worked with Mance Harmon there as well. And their background is identity management. So this is an area that he's very familiar with. So yeah, no, you're right. I gotta watch this presentation. A big thank you again to Kat for pulling this off. It's a lot of work putting these meetups together. I was an ambassador myself for a lengthy period of time before I ended up joining the team. And it's a ton of work. It's a ton of work. So we wanted to send a special thank you to Kat. I hope she's watching live or watching the recording, and just offer our gratitude and our thanks, because all of these people in the room who showed up obviously wanted to get a better understanding of how different Hedera Hashgraph is. Hedera is very different from any blockchain out there, any other DLT platform out there, and we don't shy away from that. We certainly want to help educate the market. And there are people that join these meetups worldwide, globally, because they're just trying to get their heads wrapped around this technology. So, and moving on, actually at that Boston meetup that I spoke at last month, Jim Gao was at the event, and I got to speak with him in person. Yeah, he showed up. I think he's from Providence nearby. And I know he's hosted meetups for Hedera Hashgraph in the past as well. And he has this YouTube channel, and he titled this one HCS, a Decentralized Notary Service. His YouTube channel is called Hashout. Highly recommend anyone checking out his YouTube channel. I really appreciated this video. Right here at the 3-minute mark is where he draws a parallel between HCS and a notary service. Because there are numerous times throughout someone's life when you need to require the services of a notary to sign off and authenticate some form of government ID or paperwork. And it's not hard to imagine that this HCS service would possibly serve that role in the coming future. I don't know if that's a possible use case that you've come across anywhere here, Nick, but that I found this video interesting. I hadn't heard anyone talk about a notary service before.
The notary service, it has a big reach, even if it comes to executing smart contracts locally. Locally meaning that I execute my program on my computer, not on this cloud thing, which is a smart contract, but at the same time, somebody who knows how to validate things computation is performed here on my machine, can take this role, this notary, saying Nick is keeping his part of the deal, is executing the program the way he's promising to do so. So yes, Jim is onto something really, really central to the HCS service, which allows really third parties to validate whether what you do is what you promise to do.
Exactly, the trust layer of the internet at the end of the day, right? That's what we've been saying since day one. That's what everyone's dying to have that ability to trust another person or another entity, no matter where they're located, do business, play games, buy and sell goods and services in a way where we all trust each other. And this HCS really changes the game and opens up whole new business models that happen existed before, right? So yeah, and
Correct.
I think Jim's doing a fantastic job, because this isn't always the easiest topic to talk about in a YouTube channel, and this is he's just an important part of the community as well. So I wanted to single Jim out.
Jim has a unique ability to bring complicated concepts to users. So he has another video which I ought to mention, on how really to set up your wallet, how to create an account and get on with Hedera Hashgraph, and he does it all in one go, very smooth. So if you don't know how to set up wallets and all that, just watch Jim's video and you know it in 5 minutes. So.
Nick, I'm really glad you pointed that out, because I totally forgot that he made that video. I saw that video too, and I was really impressed with what he was able to throw together. And yeah, sometimes someone has a different way of providing the information, and just has a way of clicking for a lot of people out there that maybe perhaps were struggling before. But yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, good call. Yeah, and then moving on here. No, go for it. What were you going to say?
I think Jim is preparing something, so maybe adapt. So I don't know much about that, but Jim, you really have to tell us what you're cooking.
Jim, we're going to have to get you on the Forkless Cafe, Jim. We're going to have, I think you just gave me a good idea there, Nick. We're going to have to reach out to him in the near future and get him on the show as well. Maybe he'll be ready to share some more details with us. But there's a lot of smart people in the community that are cooking all kinds of different dApps that are going to be living on the Hedera Hashgraph mainnet, and it's going to be a very exciting time. So we're all aching to get to open access. All right, and we have a social sister here. This probably isn't a surprise, but the highest performing tweet that I put out last week for Hedera was this one here that's talking about the Hedera fee estimator. I think if you're a technically minded person and you're used to building applications and more importantly dApps, you're going to find a lot of value out of this estimator. It's going to make your job a whole lot easier and cut through a lot of the headaches. I'm not a developer myself, but I've been told that this is very unique in the space, and we've been getting all kinds of kudos from people about the work and effort that went towards creating this thing. So I hope everyone has a chance to check it out and it provides some value. But leave us some comments and some suggestions and some questions if you have anything. We have Sharon that's taking care of the main chat, the live chat for us right now. But if you're watching the recording, leave a comment for us if you have some suggestions or comments on these valuable tools and resources that the team's putting together for you.
It's very important for developers to know what are the costs up front. I do remember about 1 year ago when Arrival a network launched, we didn't know about the fees, and when they launched, the fees, they were really out of this world. So a lot of people left because they didn't know how much things cost. Maybe they weren't that much, but if you don't know, you just don't know how to develop things efficiently. So and the programs to know how much things will cost in the end, because nothing is for free. I remember somebody saying.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is a message that this is a drum that Hedera has been beating for a while as well. That there is hashtag no free lunch. that there is no such a thing as a free lunch. That at the end of the day, if the idea is if you are using a social media platform, or if you're using an online search platform and you are not paying for that service, that is because you are the product. That's because you are being monetized, and the entity on the other end is collecting your private data and selling it and making a profit off of you because you're not paying for that service. So there is no free lunch. There's some kind of transaction happening there, and the idea is that Hedera Hashgraph is intending to reduce the friction as minimally as possible and introduce micropayments into this new world where you'll be able to pay a micro transaction to read an article or watch a video online, and because there is no such thing as a free lunch, right? And this fee model will give developers, this fee estimator will give developers a way to plan that cash flow problem, or that that resource problem so that the business model makes sense, so that you're not putting all this work and effort into something only to find out that there's no way for you to cover the transaction costs at the end of the day. So yeah, good stuff. So I will bring back up
we've got some audience questions, so let's go through some of those. All right.
Okay, we got some questions. What do we got?
So for Nick, so we have some really neat things for Nick. This is from Twins. So do you have experience working on other crypto platforms, blockchains? How would you compare the developer experience, tooling, SDKs, etc., to what you're seeing now for Hashgraph?
I have some experience working for EOS, but that was before they went live, and when I said before the fees were just too much. This is what I did back then before they launched. I created some platform with the SDK, which is in C++. It's language I like, but a lot of people don't because it's a little bit too close to the metal. When we created the tool and then they launched the network, we figured out that in order to go live, we had to shell out thousands of dollars in terms of buying RAM, which is a thing over there. But then coming over to Hashgraph, things were the SDK was in a language that everybody's familiar with. It's Java. Very smooth. So the SDK was announced 3 days before the hackathon, and at the hackathon, a lot of people managed to do a lot of things with it. So 3 days SDK, and people managed to build end-to-end applications. So did I. We do have a fantastic SDK. It's very easy to develop applications with. I do believe that after open access, a lot of dApp developers from Ethereum will just come over simply because of the ease of use of the SDK. People don't understand much about consensus and this and that. They just want to get an application up and running, and it's really easy to do. So Hash was done really in 2 days time, the first version. Now we spent a little bit more time on it, but we have SDKs for a couple of languages. I even see now community members creating SDKs for things that like .NET, Python, you name it. We have it all. So
there is very fascinating. Yeah, no, very fascinating. And I'm really amazed that you said 2 days, the initial version. That is really impressive.
This is what we, for Hash is a very simple application to develop, really. But the SDK was announced somewhere mid-October, and the hackathon was staged 3 days later. So which means that everybody who attended the hackathon didn't have prior experience with that SDK. And we remember at the hackathon, a lot of people produced a lot of stuff with an SDK they've seen only for a couple of days. Usually when you program, you need to study the SDK for days and weeks and go through the manuals and you name it. But that SDK is quite simple. Create a transaction, sign it, go for it, commit, next. So, and I've seen also other people now have done quite complex stuff with Hashgraph. So I think at the open access we'll see some really cool things. So it's
exciting, all yeah, very exciting. There's another question. I'm just going to read it as it was written. What is the end result of an end application in terms of difference between blockchain and Hedera?
So I'm not sure I understand the question, but the difference between blockchain and Hedera. We are okay. There's a lot of talk about whether things are a chain or a graph, my view is that it doesn't matter what the underlying data structure is. I don't care about what my database data structure is, whether it's a B3 or whether it's just a file that I append things to. I don't care about these things, but what I do care is about speed. and about guarantees for the order of transaction. And the unique point that Hashgraph has is that it can do things at speed, and it can guarantee the order of transaction. And this is something very important. People don't realize how important that thing is in terms for, I'll give you an example. The definition of an algorithm is that there are a couple of steps that are performed, each after another, and there's an order. And the step, you see, order is everywhere. And when you get the order right, you can and you have finality within seconds. Then you can really do things at high speed. And this is the difference between Hashgraph and other blockchains. Hashgraph is fast, fair, and secure. So that's my take on this.
Thank you so much. There are a lot of questions that we can't answer yet, Andrew. I think mostly on your side, things like when testing, star program, when will we launch? When OA, these kind of questions. So, so all of these, we are working hard on trying to answer all of these, but those were some of the questions that have been asked, Andrew, maybe more for your side.
All I would add to that is nobody wants OA to get here more than the Hedera team. Nobody. So when that announcement happens, and it's going to be very soon, we've always said that it will occur in summer for the U.S., summer and the Northern Hemisphere, summertime in 2019, and we're well within that time frame. It's still summertime, and there'll be more. There'll be more information.
Summer just started, so so we have 32 degrees. So for us, summer just started.
So it just started. Well, there you go. According to London, we have tons of time. So no need to panic. We're good to go. But yeah, there's more information to come, and we're all very excited. And I know, Nick, I don't know if you can comment on this, but I know, Nick, you spoke with Garrick about the STAR program. The buying the star, on DAP Talk, and we're going to be publishing that video this week. But I'm not sure if anything's changed or if there's something that you can add that you already discussed with Garrick.
Nothing I can add about the stars. I know that Team Hedera is very, very busy with open access, so I don't know what the status is, but I do guess that there are things that have higher priority than stars at the moment. Because you see, smart contracts, they're gonna go on to the network at open access. So right now, nobody has been able to smart contracts are not enabled in the main network at the moment. And with open access, the smart contracts will go live. And with that, a lot of things will go live. And when a lot of things go live, I guess that there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Team Hedera, and I don't want to pressure Team Hedera with stars for open access. So everything needs to have this noble order of things, and order always matters. HSS.
I love that you can tie it back in. Yeah, the order of transactions matters. It's important.
Exactly. And when it doesn't matter, then you can do things in parallel. But in this case, order matters.
Exactly. There's lots of T's to cross and I's to dot, and Hedera is on the mission. The Hedera team is on the case. So. But I think that's as detailed as we can get. I don't know if there's any questions there, Sharon, that we can answer, but.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That was it in terms of some of the questions.
Oh, fantastic. Good stuff. Okay. Well, I'll share my screen again here, and we can get to our favorite part. So here let's fix that. So I would like to congratulate our hero of the week, Kat Lehman. I don't know if Kat is watching live. We're going to be watching the recording hopefully, but yeah, thank you very much for your efforts in Boston, hosting the recent meetup and being so active in the Telegram community. This is just a small gesture, a small thank you. So you can reach out to me in Telegram, or I'll reach out to you after we're off the live stream, and make sure we can get you your voucher for the shop.hedera.com, our merch store. And it's just a small thank you for all your efforts. Like I said, Hero of the Week is our favorite part of the live stream. And you were the clear, easy choice for this week, Kat. So thank you for all your efforts. Wonderful. And we're going to wrap things up here with, I wonder if I'm covering that. Am I? I hope I'm not covering there we go. Just move the screen over there. So we're going to wrap things up with just a little reminder that all the links of all the news that we discussed today are going to live on hashgraph.org for you to access if you wanted to dive into them in more detail and more depth, because this is clearly our format to kind of bring to the surface anyone who's watching the live stream some of the big news that happened in the previous week. So if you like what we're doing here with these live streams, smash that like button, leave us a comment, ask us a question, let us know what you like what we're doing and what you don't like what we're doing. And if there's any specific guests you want from the community, you want us to bring on to Forkless Cafe, please let us know. Once again, Nick, thank you so much for joining us. Very humbled and great. I'm sure you're a busy guy, so humbled and grateful that you're able to join us here. And it's important for us to involve the community, and you're a big part of the community. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. It's probably a busy time coming up for you, Nick. So really appreciate everything you do. Though right now it's all about swimming pools, right? You got the swimming pools that you need to be selling for the heat in London.
It's crazy.
You got to enjoy it while it lasts, right? You got to enjoy it while it lasts.
So yeah. I just wanted to let everybody know that next Monday, which is September 2nd, is actually a U.S. holiday. So just a reminder, that we won't be having the Forkless Cafe on the 2nd. So we'll wait to see you guys until the 9th.
Exactly. We're taking next week off. We will miss all of you. Wonderful. Okay, so I think, we're wrapping things up unless there's any other questions in live chat there.
Looks like we're good for now. Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and we will see you again. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, and hope to see you again. Bye, everyone. Bye, Nick.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Nick.